This is my intermediate algebra course. Today you're going to take the first test of the course. In the previous class, we did a practice test together, and I gave you a practice test for homework. Don't take this test today until you finish those practice tests. Again, one we did together in the previous class, and I gave you one test for homework. If you take this test and fail it, then that means that all the work that I put into creating the test was for nothing. So some students say, well, I won't study for the test and I'll take it, and then if I fail, I'll know that I wasn't ready. Well, that doesn't work for me. If you fail the exam, you may be able to do better in the next part of the course, but intermediate algebra is the most important course in your K-12 education. So if you get off on the wrong foot and you don't do well in the first test, that's not a good sign. So go ahead and take screenshots of the test. Here's screenshot number 1 and screenshot number 2. And screenshot number 3 and number 4 and number 5 and number 6. So clear your desk. You're not allowed to use the internet or a textbook. You're not allowed to get help from anybody. You have to do this on your own. And you don't need a calculator. Clear your desk. You should have a pencil and paper, or if you're using a digital notebook, a digital pen, an eraser, and you may want to use a timer. Some students will finish this test in 45 minutes. Other students may use 2 hours to finish the test. And to be honest with you, I don't really care how long it takes you to finish the test, as long as you can demonstrate that you can do the material on your own without any help. But just be aware that in school, they're not going to give you 6 hours to finish a test. Usually they'll give you between 1 and 2 hours. So you really need to try to finish this test within about 2 hours. So that said, go ahead and take the test. Pause the video, and when you're done, you can push play on the video, and we'll talk about how to score your test. So go ahead and stop the video, and I'll see you when you come back. Alright, we're back. So you should be finished with the test. Don't look at the answers until you're finished with the test. Just writing down the answers on the test, that doesn't really count for anything. So if you're finished with the test, we'll go ahead and score the test. Let's look at the answers here. So here's screenshot number 1 of the answers. And here's screenshot number 2. So before you look at those answers, I'm going to show you some guidelines on how to score your test. Like I said, each problem is worth 4 points for a total of 100 points. If a problem has 4 parts, then each part is worth 1 point. I don't think that's the case in this exam. If a problem has 2 parts, then each part is worth 2 points. There are a couple parts of this exam where there's 2 parts. For example, number 9, you have x equals 0, and you have your graph. So the first part would be worth 2 points, and the second part 2 points. First part 2 points, second part 2 points. So pretty easy when it comes to scoring your test. Same thing here. This part would be worth 2 points. This part would be worth 2 points for a total of 4 points. Every problem has 4 points. This problem has 2 parts, so each part is worth 2 points. And you can give yourself partial credit if you do a lot of work correctly. You may do all of the work correctly but make one minor mistake at the end and get the wrong answer. But if you do all the work correctly, you can still give yourself half credit for that problem. I don't think there were any problems, at least not that I remember, where we needed units. I might be wrong, but if you forget a unit, like meters or inches or pounds, then subtract 1/8 of the points. I don't think we needed to round any of the problems. If you didn't write your name, subtract 1 point. If you didn't write the date, subtract 1 point. If you didn't write the course title, subtract a point. I know that seems kind of tedious, but if you don't do that in school, your teachers are going to get very, very angry. So that's just not something that you're allowed to do, period. So go ahead and score your test. You can use this as a guideline, and when you're done scoring your test, we will come back and show you how to grade your test. So pause the video and score your test, and when you're done, push play. Okay, we're back. So if you scored a 90 or above, that would be considered an A. That means you did excellently. If you scored 80 to 89, that means you did very well, but there's a few things you need to work on. If you scored 70 to 79, that means you did well, but there's quite a few things you need to work on. And anything below a 70 means that you really did not study enough. Go back to each problem that you missed and ask yourself, why did I get this problem wrong, or why was I not able to do this problem? And 99% of the time, the answer is going to be you just didn't know what you were doing in the problem. And the reason you didn't know what you were doing is you just didn't study enough. So again, it all goes back to your studying and how serious are you when it comes to really making sure that you know the material. So if you did well, good job. If you didn't do well, then like I said, study harder on the next test. Math requires a lot of preparation to do well on tests. Completing the practice exams, that's just the start. That hopefully will ensure that you at least passed. But if you didn't pass, that just means you need to do even more studying beyond the practice tests. So hopefully you'll do better in the next part of the course. That said, I'll see you in the next class.